Hello, everyone. Welcome back to English Owl. I'm glad you are here for another simple English story. Today, we are going to talk about someone you spend every day with. That person is you. So find a comfortable place, listen to the story, and enjoy learning English with us. You make a small mistake. You close your eyes. And you say, "Why did I do that again?" A few minutes later, you are still thinking about it. Then one small mistake becomes a very big problem in your mind. Maybe you know this feeling. You forget an English word. You say, "I am so bad at English." You miss one day of exercise. You say, "I never finish anything." You make a wrong choice. You say, "Why am I always like this?" We often say these things very quickly. But there is a problem. You hear every word. You talk to yourself every day. From the morning until the night, your own voice is with you. It speaks when you make a mistake. It speaks when you feel afraid. It speaks when you try something new. So the way you talk to yourself matters. Imagine you have a friend. Your friend is learning English. One day, your friend forgets a word. They feel bad. Would you say, "You are terrible at English"? Would you say, "You will never learn"? Probably not. You may say, "It is okay. You are still learning. Try again." You know, one mistake does not mean your friend is bad at English. But when you make the same mistake, you may speak very differently. You become angry. You say, "I should know this. I am too slow. I cannot do anything right." Why? Why are you kind to your friend but so hard on yourself? Maybe you think being hard on yourself will help you improve. You think, "If I'm angry with myself, I will work harder." Sometimes this may work for a short time. But after a while, something can happen. You become tired. You become afraid of mistakes. You stop enjoying what you are doing. Maybe you even want to give up. Think about a child learning to ride a bike. The child falls. What do you say? "You are bad at this"? No. You say, "Try again." You are learning. Take your time. You understand that falling is part of learning. But you are learning too. You may not be learning to ride a bike. Maybe you are learning English. Maybe you are learning a new job. Maybe you are trying to build a better habit. Maybe you are trying to become a better person. You will make mistakes. That is normal. You do not need to become your own enemy every time something goes wrong. Think about how many times you talk to yourself in one day. You wake up late. "I am so lazy." You look in the mirror. "I do not look good." You make a mistake at work. "I am so stupid." You forget something. "What is wrong with me?" One sentence may not feel important, but you say these things again and again. After some time, you may begin to believe them. This is why your words matter. Imagine a small plant. Every day, you give it clean water. The plant has a chance to grow. Now imagine giving it dirty water every day. The plant may become weak. Your mind can be a little like that. The words you hear every day can affect how you feel. And your own words are the words you hear the most. This does not mean you need to say, "I am perfect." You are not perfect. No one is. You will make mistakes. You will have bad days. You will do things you wish you did differently. Being kind to yourself does not mean lying to yourself. It does not mean saying everything is good when it is not. It means telling yourself the truth without being cruel. There is a big difference. You make a mistake. You can say, "I am stupid." Or you can say, "I made a mistake." These two sentences are not the same. I am stupid attacks you. I made a mistake talks about what happened. One sentence closes the door. The other sentence gives you a chance to learn. Maybe you did not study today. You can say, I am lazy. Or you can say, I did not study today. I can try again tomorrow. The second sentence is still honest. You did not study. You are not hiding the truth, but you are giving yourself another chance. This is important. You can be honest and kind at the same time. Maybe you think kind words are weak. They are not. Sometimes kind words help you become stronger. When you are not afraid of every mistake, you can try more. When you do not hate yourself after a bad day, you can return faster. When you know one failure does not define you, you can keep learning. Think about learning English again. You listen to a story. You understand only half of it. Your first thought may be, my English is terrible. Stop for a moment. Try another sentence. I understood half of the story. That is true too. Then you can say, maybe next time I will understand a little more. Do you see the difference? The first thought makes you want to stop. The second thought gives you a next step. The situation did not change. Your words changed. And sometimes changing your words can change what you do next. Maybe you have been hard on yourself for many years. You may not even notice it anymore. The words come very quickly. I cannot do this. I am not good enough. I always fail. They feel normal. So start by listening. You do not need to change everything today. Just notice your words. When you make a mistake, what do you say? When you look in the mirror, what do you think? When someone does better than you, how do you talk to yourself? Listen. You may learn something important. Maybe you would never speak to another person the way you speak to yourself. If so, ask why. You are also a person. You also get tired. You also feel afraid. You also need time to learn. You do not need to give yourself everything you want. You do not need to say every choice is good. But you can speak with respect. You can say, that was not a good choice. Then ask, what can I do better next time? You can say, I am disappointed. Then ask, what can I learn from this? You can say, today was difficult. Then say, tomorrow I can try again. This is not weakness. This is a better way to grow. Imagine two teachers. The first teacher becomes angry every time you make a mistake. You are bad. You never learn. Why are you so slow? How would you feel in that class? You may become afraid. You may stop asking questions. You may not want to try. Now imagine another teacher. This teacher says, that answer is not right. But let us look at it again. Try one more time. This teacher still tells you the truth. But they help you continue. Which teacher would help you learn more? You can choose which teacher lives inside your mind. The angry teacher may already be there. Maybe that voice has been with you for a long time. But you can slowly teach it a new way to speak. The next time you make a mistake, stop. Listen to your first thought. Then ask, would I say this to a good friend? If the answer is no, try another sentence. Not a perfect sentence. Not a false sentence. Just a kinder and more useful sentence. I made a mistake. I can learn. Today was difficult. I can try again. I do not know this yet. I can keep practicing. Simple words, but they can help. You may forget to do this tomorrow. That is okay. Remember again later. You may become angry with yourself again. Notice it. Then try again. Learning to speak kindly to yourself is also a new skill. And new skills need time. Do not become angry with yourself because you are learning how not to become angry with yourself. That would be a little funny. Give yourself time. Start with one moment, one mistake, one kinder sentence, then another. Maybe your life will not change in one day, but something small can begin. You may feel a little less afraid of mistakes. You may return faster after a bad day. You may begin to trust yourself more. And all of this can start with the voice you hear every day, your own voice. So listen to it, notice it. And when that voice becomes too hard, remember this. You can tell yourself the truth without hurting yourself. You can see your mistakes without hating yourself. You can want to grow and still be kind to the person you are today. Because you are not only the person who makes mistakes, you are also the person who is learning from them. And that person needs your help too. You make a mistake. You feel bad. Then something happens in your mind. The mistake becomes bigger and bigger. You do not only think about what you did, you begin to think badly about yourself. You say, I made a mistake. Then you say, I always make mistakes. A little later, you say, I cannot do anything right. Do you see what happened? It started with one mistake. But soon you were talking about your whole life. We often do this. One bad moment becomes a bad day. One bad day becomes a bad week. One mistake becomes, I am not good enough. But this is not fair. You made one mistake. That is what happened. You are not the mistake. Think about dropping a cup. The cup falls. It breaks. You feel bad. Maybe you were not careful. Maybe you were moving too fast. You can clean the floor. You can learn to be more careful next time. But would you say, I am a terrible person because I broke a cup? Probably not. It was a mistake. It was one moment. But sometimes we do something wrong and forget this simple idea. We think the mistake tells us who we are. Maybe you forget an English word. You say, I am bad at English. But wait, you forgot one word. That does not mean you are bad at English. Maybe you know hundreds of other words. Maybe you understood most of the story. Maybe you studied every day this week. Why forget all of that because of one word? Look at the whole picture. Do not only look at the mistake. Imagine a white shirt. There is one small dark mark on it. You look at the mark, you keep looking at it. Soon you forget the rest of the shirt. But most of the shirt is still clean. The small mark did not become the whole shirt. Your mistakes are like that too. They are part of your life, but they are not your whole life. Maybe you made a bad choice. You wish you could go back. You think about it again and again. You say, why did I do that? It is okay to feel bad. It is okay to wish you made a better choice. These feelings can help you learn. But after that, ask a better question. What can I do now? You cannot change what happened, but you can choose your next action. Maybe you need to say sorry. Say sorry. Maybe you need to fix something. Try to fix it. Maybe you need to learn from the mistake. Learn, then move forward. Feeling bad forever does not fix the past. Being angry with yourself every day does not change what happened. But learning can help your future. This is why it is important to separate two things: what you did and who you are. You can do something wrong. That does not mean everything about you is wrong. You can fail at something. That does not mean you are a failure. You can have a bad day. That does not mean you have a bad life. These things are different. Keep them different in your mind. Maybe you tried to build a new habit. You wanted to exercise every morning. You did well for 10 days. Then you stopped. 3 days passed. You did nothing. Now you say, I always give up. But is that true? You exercised for 10 days. That happened too. Why only remember the 3 bad days? Why forget the 10 good days? Look at everything. You tried. You did well for some time. Then you stopped. Now you can begin again. That is the full story. The story is not, I always fail. The story is, I started, I stopped, and now I can try again. That is very different. The words you use can change how you feel. And how you feel can change what you do next. If you say, I always fail, you may not want to try again. But if you say, I stopped for 3 days, the problem feels smaller. You can do something about a small problem. You can return tomorrow. Maybe you are not happy with something you did. Do not hide from it. Look at it. Be honest. Say, yes, I made a mistake. Then ask, what did this teach me? Maybe you need to slow down. Maybe you need to listen more. Maybe you need to practice. Maybe you need to ask for help. A mistake can show you something. But you need to look at it in the right way. If you only attack yourself, you may miss the lesson. You are too busy saying, I am terrible. You are too busy feeling bad. You do not ask what you can learn. Try another way. Stop. Look at what happened. Find one lesson. Then choose one next step. This is much more useful. Think about a student taking a test. The student gets 5 answers wrong. The teacher does not throw away the whole test. The teacher looks at the 5 answers. What happened here? What does the student need to learn? The wrong answers show what needs more practice. Your mistakes can do the same. They can show you where you need help. They can show you what you do not know yet. They can show you what to practice next. A mistake can become a teacher, but only if you let yourself learn from it. Maybe you are thinking about an old mistake now, something from many years ago. You still feel bad. You still think, I should have known better. But maybe you did not know better then. Maybe you know better now because of that mistake. Think about that. The person you are today knows more. You have more experience. You can see things you could not see before. That means you learned. Do not use what you know today to attack the person you were yesterday. The old you did not know everything you know now. You can wish you made a better choice, and you can still understand why you made that choice. Both can be true. Maybe you were afraid. Maybe you were tired. Maybe you did not have enough experience. Maybe you simply made a mistake. You are a person. People make mistakes. This does not mean mistakes do not matter. They matter. Our choices can hurt us. They can hurt other people too. When that happens, we need to be honest. We may need to say sorry. We may need to change. We may need to do better next time. But hating yourself is not the same as changing. You can hate yourself and still make the same mistake. You can be kind to yourself and still learn to do better. Being kind does not mean saying, everything I do is okay. It means saying, I did something wrong. Now I want to do better. This gives you a way forward. Maybe you failed at something important. You worked hard. You wanted to succeed. But it did not work. Now you feel empty. You think, maybe I am not good enough. But one result cannot tell you everything about yourself. Maybe the plan was wrong. Maybe you needed more time. Maybe you needed more practice. Maybe it was simply very difficult. There can be many reasons. Do not choose the worst answer first. Do not always say, "The problem is me." Look again. What happened? What can you learn? What can you change? Can you try another way? These questions can help you move. You are more than one result. You are more than one bad day. You are more than one wrong choice. Think about a book. One page can be sad. One page can be difficult. One page can have a mistake. But one page is not the whole book. You would not read one page and say you know the whole story. Your life is the same. One difficult time does not tell your whole story. There are more pages. There are more choices. There are more chances. You can learn something on this page. Then you can turn to the next one. Maybe the next page will not be easy either. That is okay. Keep reading. Keep learning. Keep moving. Your story is still being written. The next time you make a mistake, listen to your first thought. Maybe it says, "I am stupid." Stop. Change the sentence. Say, "I did something wrong." Maybe your mind says, "I always fail." Stop. Say, "This did not work." Maybe you think, "I cannot do anything." Stop. Say, "This is difficult for me right now." Use simple words. Use true words. Do not make the problem bigger than it is. Then ask one question. What can I do next? Maybe you can try again. Maybe you can ask for help. Maybe you can practice. Maybe you can say sorry. Maybe you need to rest and think. Choose one thing. Then do it. This is how you move forward after a mistake. Not by saying you are perfect. Not by acting like nothing happened. And not by hurting yourself with cruel words. You move forward by seeing the mistake clearly, learning from it, then taking the next step. Remember, you will make more mistakes. So will I. So will everyone you know. That is part of being a person. The goal is not to live a life with no mistakes. The goal is to learn what to do after them. Can you be honest? Can you learn? Can you try again? Can you choose better next time? These things matter more. So when one bad moment makes you think badly about your whole life, stop. Look at the moment again. Make it the right size. It was one mistake, one choice, one day. It is not everything. You are still here. You can still learn. You can still change. You can still take another step. You are not your worst moment. You are also every lesson you learned after it. You are every time you tried again. You are every small change you made. So do not let one mistake tell your whole story. The story is much bigger than that. And there are still many pages left to write. When you learn something new, you will not be good at it right away. This is normal. But sometimes we forget this. We try something new. We make mistakes. Then we say, "I am bad at this." Maybe you are not bad at it. Maybe you are just learning. There is a big difference. Think about learning English. You hear a sentence. You do not understand it. You try to speak. The words do not come out well. You forget words you studied yesterday. Then you feel bad. You think, "Why am I still making mistakes?" Because you are learning. Learning is not a straight road. Some days you understand a lot. Other days everything feels difficult. One day you remember a new word. The next day you forget it. That does not mean you failed. Your mind needs time. You need to hear words again. You need to use them. You need to forget them and learn them again. This is part of learning. Imagine a baby learning to walk. The baby stands up, then falls down. The baby tries again, and falls again. No one says, "This baby is bad at walking." We know the baby is learning. We know it takes time. So why are we so different with ourselves? You try something 3 times. It does not work. Then you want to stop. You say, "I cannot do this," but maybe you need to try 10 times. Maybe 20 times. Maybe more. You do not know yet. Do not call yourself a failure when you are still learning. Think about cooking. The first time you make a new meal, it may not taste very good. Maybe you use too much salt. Maybe you cook it too long. What do? You learn. Next time, you use less salt. You cook it for less time. The meal becomes better. The first bad meal helped you. It showed you what to change. Your mistakes can help you in the same way. They can say, "Try another way. Practice this part again." Slow down here. A mistake can give you useful information. But you cannot hear the lesson if you are too busy attacking yourself. You say, "I am terrible. I cannot do anything. I should stop." These words do not help you learn. Try asking a simple question instead. What can I learn from this? Maybe the answer is small. I need more practice. I need to slow down. I need to ask for help. Good. Now you have a next step. This is what learning looks like. You try. Something does not work. You learn. Then you try again. Maybe it still does not work. You learn something else. Then you try again. Slowly, you get better. You may not see the change every day, but it is happening. Think about something you can do well now. Maybe you can drive. Maybe you can cook. Maybe you can use a computer. Was it easy on your first day? Probably not. You needed time. You asked questions. You made mistakes. You forgot things. Then, little by little, it became easier. The same can happen with what you are learning now. Today, it feels difficult. One day, it may feel normal. But you need to give yourself time to reach that day. Do not stop the story too early. Maybe you see another person doing something very well. You think, "Why can they do it, but I cannot?" You see their skill today. You do not see their first day. Maybe they were bad at it too. Maybe they made many mistakes. Maybe they wanted to stop. But they kept learning. Do not compare your first days to their later days. Stay with your own learning. Ask yourself, do I know a little more than before? Can I do something I could not do last month? If the answer is yes, you are learning. That matters. Maybe your progress is very slow. Slow learning is still learning. You do not need to become good quickly. You need to continue long enough to improve. Sometimes we want to look good more than we want to learn. We are afraid to ask questions. We are afraid to make mistakes. We think other people will laugh at us. So we stay quiet. We do not try. But if you never try, learning becomes very difficult. You need to be a beginner before you can become better. Beginners ask simple questions. Beginners make mistakes. Beginners need help. There is nothing wrong with that. Every person who is good at something was once a beginner. Give yourself permission to be one too. You do not need to know everything. You do not need to do everything well. Say, "I am learning." These words can help you. I am learning English. I am learning how to take care of myself. I am learning how to make better choices. I am learning how to begin again. You are not saying you are perfect. You are saying the story is still moving. Maybe today was difficult. You can learn from it. Maybe you made the same mistake again. Look at it again. Maybe there is still something you need to understand. Learning can take more than one lesson. That is okay. You can come back to the lesson. You can try again. Be patient with the process. A flower does not open because you shout at it. It opens when it is ready. It needs water. It needs light. It needs time. You need time too. You need practice. You need rest. You need another chance. Being hard on yourself will not always make you grow faster. Sometimes it only makes you tired. Try giving yourself something more useful. Time. Practice. Kind words. And another chance. Maybe you failed a test. That result is real. You do not need to hide from it. But the test can show you what to study next. Maybe you did not reach your goal. That is real too. But you can ask what went wrong. Then you can make a new plan. A bad result can be part of learning. It does not need to be the end. The important question is not, did I make a mistake? You will make mistakes. The better question is, what will I do now? Will you learn? Will you practice? Will you ask for help? Will you try one more time? Your next choice matters. So the next time you feel bad because you are not good at something, stop. Remember your first day. Remember that new things take time. Do not ask yourself to be perfect. Ask yourself to learn one thing, then learn another. Take one small step, then another. Maybe you will move slowly. That is okay. You are still moving. Maybe you will fall again. Stand up when you are ready. Try again. You are not failing every time something goes wrong. Sometimes you are simply learning what works and what does not. You are learning what you need. You are learning how to become better. So give yourself time. Give yourself another try. And when your mind says, I am not good enough, answer with a simpler truth. I am still learning. Because you are. And that means your story is not finished yet. Being kind to yourself does not mean doing nothing. It does not mean saying everything I do is okay. Sometimes you make a bad choice. Sometimes you do not try hard enough. Sometimes you hurt another person. You need to be honest about these things. But you do not need to hate yourself. You can be kind to yourself and still want to grow. These two things can happen together. Imagine you plan to study English every day. But this week, you only studied one time. You feel disappointed. What should you do? You can say, I am so lazy. I never do anything right. I will never change. But will these words help you study tomorrow? Maybe not. They may only make you feel worse. Try another way. Say, I did not study as much as I wanted. That is true. Then ask, why? Maybe you were too tired. Maybe your plan was too difficult. Maybe you forgot. Maybe you spent too much time on your phone. Now you know more about the problem. Then ask, what can I do differently tomorrow? Maybe you can study for 10 minutes. Maybe you can put your phone away. Maybe you can study in the morning. Now you have a plan. This is kindness with action. You are not hiding from the problem. You are looking at it clearly. But you are not attacking yourself. You are trying to help yourself do better. Think about a good coach. A good coach does not say, you are perfect. Do whatever you want. But a good coach also does not say, "You are terrible. Just stop." A good coach tells you the truth. You need more practice. You need to work on this part. Try again. The coach wants you to grow, but the coach also helps you continue. You can become that kind of coach for yourself. When you make a mistake, be honest. Say what happened. Then look for the next step. Maybe you spent too much money. Do not say, "I am terrible with money." Say, "I spent more than I planned." Then ask, "What can I change next week?" Maybe you can write down what you buy. Maybe you can wait one day before buying something. Maybe you can save a small amount first. Choose one simple action. Then try it. You do not need to fix your whole life today. You only need to make one better choice. Sometimes people are afraid to be kind to themselves. They think, "If I am too kind, I will become lazy." They think they need anger to change. But think about this. When someone shouts at you every day, do you always work better? Maybe you become tired. Maybe you become afraid. Maybe you want to leave. Your mind can feel the same way. If you attack yourself every day, you may lose the energy to try. Kindness can give you that energy back. It can say, "Yes, today was difficult, but tomorrow is another chance." It can say, "Yes, you made a mistake, but now you know something new." It can say, "You are not where you want to be, but you can still take one step." These words do not stop growth. They can help growth continue. Imagine you are walking up a mountain. You become tired. You sit down. Being kind to yourself means saying, "I need a short rest." It does not mean saying, "I will sit here forever." You rest. You drink some water. You get your energy back. Then you stand up, and you continue. This is a good way to think about kindness. Rest when you need to rest. But remember where you want to go. Maybe you have a habit you want to change. You have tried many times, but you keep going back to the old habit. You become angry with yourself. You think, "Why can't I change?" But change can be slow. Instead of asking, "Why am I so bad?" ask, "What makes this difficult for me?" Maybe you need a smaller goal. Maybe you need help. Maybe you need to change something around you. These questions can show you a better way. Anger often says, "You are the problem." Kindness asks, "What is the problem?" That small difference can help a lot. One attacks you. The other helps you look for an answer. Maybe you want to wake up earlier, but every night you go to bed very late. You can call yourself lazy every morning. Or you can look at the real problem. Maybe you need to put your phone away earlier. Maybe you need a better night plan. Now you have something you can change. This is how growth happens. Not by hating the person you are, but by helping that person make better choices. You are the person who must live with you every day. You are also the person who must help you change. So do not become your own enemy. Become someone who can help. This does not mean every day will be easy. You will still make mistakes. You will still have days when you do not try hard enough. When that happens, do not hide from the truth. Say, "I could have done better today." Then ask, "What will I do tomorrow?" Maybe the answer is very small. That is okay. A small answer is better than only feeling bad. Maybe you will study for 5 minutes. Maybe you will say sorry. Maybe you will finish one small job. Maybe you will try again. Do that one thing. Then see what happens. Growth does not always come from one big change. Often, it comes from many small choices. You notice a problem. You make one better choice. Then you do it again. Little by little, you change. You do not need to become a different person in one day. Give yourself time. But do not use time as a reason to do nothing. Take one step today, then another step later. This is the balance. Be patient, but keep trying. Rest, but come back. Accept your mistakes, but learn from them. Be kind, but keep growing. Think about a garden. A person who cares for a garden does not shout at the flowers. Grow faster! Why are you so small? That will not help. The person gives the flowers water. They give them light. But they also remove things that hurt the garden. They do both. They are gentle, and they take action. You can care for yourself in the same way. Give yourself rest. Give yourself kind words. Give yourself time. But also look at what needs to change. Maybe you need more practice. Maybe you need a better habit. Maybe you need to stop doing something that hurts you. Be honest. Then make one change. You do not need cruel words to become better. You need clear eyes. You need patience. And you need action. The next time you make a mistake, try this. First, stop. Do not attack yourself. Then say what happened. I did not follow my plan. I said something wrong. I stopped trying. Next, ask what you can learn. Then choose one small action. That is enough. You saw the truth. You learned something. And you took another step. This is a much better way to grow. Maybe you will make the same mistake again. Do not be surprised. Some lessons take time. Look again. Learn again. Try again. You can be patient without giving up. You can forgive yourself without forgetting the lesson. You can accept who you are today and still work for a better tomorrow. Remember this. You do not need to hate yourself to change yourself. You do not need to become your enemy to become better. Speak to yourself with respect. Tell yourself the truth. Then help yourself take the next step. Be kind when you fall. Learn why you fell. Then stand up when you are ready. Keep moving. Keep learning. And keep growing. You can be kind to yourself and still become better. In fact, kindness may be the thing that helps you continue long enough to truly change. There is one person who will be with you for your whole life. That person is you. Other people may come and go. Friends may move away. People may become busy. Life may change. But you will always wake up with yourself. You will always hear your own thoughts. You will always be there on your good days and your bad days. So ask yourself one question. What kind of person do you want to be to yourself? Do you want to be someone who is always angry? Someone who only sees mistakes? Someone who says you are not good enough? Or do you want to be someone who helps? Someone who listens? Someone who says, today was hard, but we can try again? You can become that person. You can become your own friend. Think about a good friend. A good friend does not leave because you make one mistake. A good friend does not laugh when you fail. A good friend listens when you are tired. They may tell you the truth. They may say, you made a bad choice. But they do not say, you are a bad person. There is a difference. A good friend wants you to grow. But they also want you to be okay. You can treat yourself in the same way. Maybe you had a difficult day. Nothing went as planned. You made mistakes. You feel tired? At night, you sit alone. What do you say to yourself? Maybe you say, I did everything wrong. I am so bad at this. I will never change. Now imagine your best friend had the same day. Would you say those things? Probably not. You may say, "You had a hard day. Get some rest. Tomorrow you can try again." Why not give yourself the same words? You need them too. Sometimes you may feel alone. You may think no one understands you. In those moments, do not make yourself feel even more alone. Stay on your own side. Listen to what you are feeling. Maybe you are sad. Say, "I feel sad today." Maybe you are afraid. Say, "I am afraid, but I can take one small step." Maybe you are tired. Say, "I need some rest." You do not need to fight every feeling. Sometimes you only need to notice it. A good friend listens. You can listen to yourself too. This does not mean you should do everything you feel like doing. A good friend may stop you from making a bad choice. They may say, "Think again." They may say, "This is not good for you." You can do the same for yourself. Being your own friend means helping yourself. Sometimes help is rest. Sometimes help is action. Sometimes help is saying no. Sometimes help is trying again. Ask yourself, what do I really need right now? The answer may not always be what you want. Maybe you want to stay in bed all day. But what you need is a short walk. Maybe you want to forget your problem. But what you need is to face one small part of it. Maybe you want to work all night. But what you need is sleep. A good friend helps you make a better choice. Learn to do that for yourself. Maybe you have spent many years being hard on yourself. Changing this will take time. You may still hear the old voice. You are too slow. You always fail. You should be better. Do not worry if that voice does not go away quickly. You are learning a new way to speak. When the old voice comes, notice it. Then answer it. I am still learning. I made a mistake, but I can try again. I am moving slowly, but I am still moving. You may need to say these things many times. That is okay. New habits need practice. Kind words need practice too. At first, they may feel strange. You may not believe them. Keep trying. You learn to be hard on yourself over time. You can learn to be kinder over time too. Think about walking with a friend on a long road. Your friend becomes tired. Would you shout, "Walk faster"? Maybe not. You may slow down. You may say, "Let us rest for a moment." Then, after some time, you continue together. Life is a long road too. There will be times when you are tired. Slow down when you need to. Rest when you need to. But do not leave yourself behind. Stay with yourself. Then continue when you are ready. Maybe you make the same mistake again. You feel disappointed. A good friend would not say, "I am finished with you." So do not say that to yourself. Look at the mistake. Ask what happened. Learn one thing. Then take another step. You may need many tries. That is normal. Some things are difficult to change. Some habits have been with you for years. Give yourself time. But keep helping yourself move. This is what a good friend does. They do not ask you to be perfect. They ask you not to give up on yourself. Maybe other people are doing better than you. Maybe they are moving faster. Your own friend would not say, "Look at them. You are terrible." A good friend would say, "Stay on your road. Look at how far you have come. Take your next step." Try to give yourself those words. You do not need to win against everyone. You do not need to be the best. You need someone who will stay with you through the whole road. Be that person for yourself. Celebrate small things too. You studied English for 10 minutes. Good. You tried again after a bad day. Good. You said sorry after a mistake. Good. You rested when you really needed it. Good. Not every good thing needs to be big. A good friend notices small steps. Notice your own small steps, too. You may think, but I still have so much to change. That may be true. All of us have things to learn. But you can work on tomorrow without hating today. You can want to become better without saying you are bad now. You can grow and still respect yourself. These things can happen together. Imagine you are holding your own hand. You are walking through difficult days. Sometimes you fall. Sometimes you get lost. Sometimes you do not know what to do. But you do not let go. You say, we will find the next step. Maybe slowly. Maybe after resting. Maybe after asking for help. But you stay. This is the kind of friend you can become to yourself. You do not need to have all the answers. You do not need to feel strong every day. You only need to stop fighting against yourself. Life is already difficult sometimes. Do not make it harder by becoming your own enemy. Stand on your own side. Tell yourself the truth. Learn from your mistakes. Change what needs to change. But speak with respect. Give yourself another chance. And another. And another. You will have good days. Enjoy them. You will have bad days. Stay with yourself through them. You will succeed sometimes. Be proud. You will fail sometimes. Learn, then continue. Your relationship with yourself will be with you for a very long time. Take care of it. Listen to yourself. Help yourself. Be honest with yourself. And be patient with yourself. You are still learning. You are still changing. You are still becoming the person you want to be. That takes time. So the next time you make a mistake, remember this. You do not need another person to attack you. Do not become that person. Become the person who helps you stand again. The person who says, let us learn from this. The person who says, let us try one more time. The person who stays. You have been with yourself from the beginning, and you will be with yourself on every road ahead. So be someone you can trust. Be someone who tells the truth with kindness. Be someone who helps you grow. And when life becomes difficult, do not turn against yourself. Stay on your own side. Take your own hand. Then keep walking. You do not need to be perfect to deserve your own kindness. You only need to remember that you are a person too. A person who makes mistakes. A person who gets tired. A person who is still learning. And a person who needs a good friend. So become that friend. Become your own friend. Thank you for spending this time with English Owl. Keep learning. Keep growing. And stay on your own side. See you in the next story.